Hello everyone and welcome back to the No, that's wrong video. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Hookster live stream podcast, as I like to call it, for me and Mr. TB the Bear. Now, if anyone saw the very start of this stream, they will have noticed I made a slight honey boo boo. Yes, because I thought the Grand Prix was on this week, but it's actually a 2-week break. So yeah, I very quickly went onto the website, the Formula 1 website, and saw it wasn't on until the week after, because time just goes past so quickly now, I just can't keep up with it. I saw that it was actually the week after, so I very, very quickly went to the video and I changed the title to F1 is not back again. So there you go. Very quick, yes. Hello from me and Mr. TB the Bear. TB the Bear. He's still got his WTF1. Now, WTF1 were at Silverstone. Yes, they had this big marquee tent up and everything. No one ever went there, but it was up there, wasn't it, TB? Yeah. Fantastic. Fantastic indeed. So there we go. Me and Mr. TB. So unfortunately we haven't got a Grand Prix this weekend. I would have liked a Grand Prix this weekend because then we could have seen what happened with Daniel Ricciardo. Let's go to the messages before we start. Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings. What's that doing on my tablet? No idea. No idea. Let's switch that off. Hello, Mr. Matthew 7657. He says Ricciardo is back, so I'll be supporting him and Lewis from now on. Well, there you go. There you go. There you go. Now, as the title of the video says, will Daniel Ricciardo in his first race back for AlphaTauri after this quite stupendous test drive that he did that so impressed everyone so much that Christian Horner was straight on the blower to Helmut Marko, and he said, right, that's it, my decision is made, and he sacked Nick de Vries on the spot and then said, right, you're in for the rest of the season. So that's some kind of pressure for Daniel Ricciardo to deliver, and the question is, will he get points in his first race back at AlphaTauri? Personally, I think absolutely no. No, I can't see it even being possible. Although the Red Bull is, pretty similar to the AlphaTauri, so, he knows how to drive that kind of car because he's doing test driving with the Red Bull. I still can't see Daniel Ricciardo in his first race getting to the points. I just can't see it. In fact, I'm going to make a prediction and say he's going to finish 17th place at Hungary, unfortunately, but that's my prediction. But anyway, we will find out. Hello, Scott. The bloody. Excuse me a minute. There's people messaging me on my Facebook. Let me just look. Danny, hungry for points. Was that a pun? Yes, it was, Ollie. If you're watching right now, yes, it was. No chance. I'm just reading out their messages. Sorry about that. I was getting messages everywhere tonight. Yes. Let's reply. There you go. Right. Hello, Scott. Welcome to the stream. He says, hi, David. I saw what you did. Excuse me. I meant that Mr. Jolly and Palmer to Nick Latifi, dirty boy. Although my French, you would be proud. Oh, you like that little skit that I did you? Yes, that little picture. That took me ages to do that picture. It really did. It took me 45 minutes to do that picture. Yes. Trying to get the scaling just right, Just trying to get the scaling just right. But there you go. Matthew says, harsh on de Vries though. I feel like Yuki got more time because of age to turn things around. Now, someone in my comments mentioned to me, who was it? I can't remember. So many people. I think it was KDF1. He said that, don't forget, Yuki's only there because of the Honda deal. As soon as Honda, pull out and later on, then obviously Yuki will probably be gone. So that's probably a good point, and probably the reason why Yuki is still there, basically because of the Honda engine. We will see. As I say, I don't dislike little Yuki. I think he's a great little chap, and he's quirky, and he's basically what Formula One needs right now. something a bit different. Of course, the only Japanese driver in Formula One at the moment, so he's got that uniqueness about him. Is he a great driver? Well, no, of course not. But it's not really a great car either, to be fair. So he really hasn't shown his true potential, which could be there. Could be there. I mean, he's definitely got a weight advantage over everyone else because little Yuki, what is he, 3'8", something like this? Tiny little wee man. Tiny little wee man. He's just tiny little wee man. He is. So yeah, so he's definitely got a weight advantage over everyone else. But in regards to how good he is, well, hasn't really been tested, has he, really? Not in sort of close combat with someone like a Fernando Alonso or something. I'd like to see that happen. I'd like to see him up there with like a Fernando Alonso and to have a real will-to-will battle just to see how good he supposedly is. Like I say, we haven't really seen anything like that from Yuki. So it's very hard to tell how good he is. But yes, Nick de Vries, oh my God. Talk about, yes, let's just throw you under the bus. 10 races and you're out. 10 races and you're gone. Yes, it's a very harsh world, is Formula One, has to be said. A very harsh world indeed. And there's your proof in your pudding. Yes, because he's gone after 10 races. He didn't put in the performance that they needed and he was out. Even though he did so well in other formulas. He's, you know, unbelievable. Now, of course, a lot of people have said, oh, just you know, go back to doing Formula E. But that's very, very difficult because he hasn't got a seat at Formula E. He's halfway through a F1 season. So everyone else in Formula E is committed to their teams or whatever. So not only has he got to find a seat, he's also got to, you know, get his rhythm back. Because this is a really bad blow to any driver to get sacked. Because he has been sacked. It's not like Daniel Ricciardo. You know, it's a very clear distinction. Daniel Ricciardo was let go. He wasn't sacked, which meant that Daniel Ricciardo could go on and do other things as he is now as the test driver at Red Bull. There's a definite distinction between being let go and being sacked, and Nick de Vries has definitely been sacked. So he's going to find it very hard to get back into motorsport again. And not only that, but to get in, you know, a team that he feels comfortable with, because obviously all the drivers now in Formula E are taken. So it's going to be a huge task, and I don't envy Nick de Vries whatsoever. It must be a huge blow to him after all the years of trying to get into Formula One. His dream is finally realised. But the thing was, a lot of this was purely because of those points he got in the Williams car. You know, his whole sort of campaign was based on that, and you really can't do that. That was a very, was it 1 point or 2 points? I can't remember, but however many it was, we'll say 1 point for argument's sake. That was a very lucky situation that he was in at Williams to get in the situation of getting points. It doesn't happen very often, and that shouldn't have been based on, you know, him getting into Formula One. So, yeah, and unfortunately, after just 10 races, he's been classed as not good enough. But, of course, this was basically because of the British Grand Prix when he finished in 17th place, which was effectively last. And Helmut Marko just said, right, that's it, I'm done. And Nick de Vries is now gone. Now, I can't remember how old he is. He's not very old, but he's not that young either. So, as I say, it's going to be a real uphill struggle now to get back to any kind of competitive drive and to get any kind of, you know, sort of motorsport future going again. So I do feel sorry for Nick de Vries, but it just goes to show that F1 is a very, very cruel mistress. Very, very cruel mistress. And just when you think you're doing well, you're out. I'm sure Nick de Vries was trying his best in every single race. You know, he was pushing it to the limit. I'm sure he didn't go into AlphaTauri and be anything like lazy, not doing his work. I'm sure that was not Nick de Vries whatsoever. He went into every single race committed, full on, trying to do his best. But unfortunately, it just didn't work for him. It just really didn't work out. And this happens time and time again in Formula One. Because, you know, once you reach the top step, sometimes it's very, very difficult. Even though you've been very successful in other sports, does not mean that you'll be successful in Formula One, because Formula One is like a pressure cooker environment. It really is. It really is. The pressure in Formula One is immense, and I certainly wouldn't want to be a Formula One driver. Even if I was young and back in my 20s, I still wouldn't want to be a Formula One driver, because it's just it's a hotbed of, performance. You have to perform 100%. You end up being like a performing seal, oink, 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 because that's what you have to be. You have to be a performing seal in Formula One, and you have to get it right every time. And it's just, the pressure is just too much for some people. Not for Nick de Vries, but just the fact that he tried every single race, but it just didn't work out for him. So Nicky's out, and Daniel Ricciardo, the honey badger himself, is back in. Now, I spoke in my video about whether I thought this was a good move or not, and personally I'll stand by it. I don't think it is a good move. I mean, they've got this Academy Young Driver program, haven't they, at Red Bull? Sure, like Ferrari's got their own Academy program as well, and probably some of the other teams as well. So, I can't understand why they get rid of one underperforming driver and then basically bring in another underperforming driver, because that's why he got let go last year, because he was underperforming. So it's just like they're trying to get hold of a safe pair of hands to try and not push the team forward, because the team really can't go forward at the moment, because it's just stuck there where it is. There's really no chance of it going forward. So they just sort of bring in a safe pair of hands to try and sort of, just steady the ship a little bit, where, that team was set up to put all the hotshot drivers in, but it's just not happening. And I don't know why. Some people have told me that some of those drivers are there, but they're not quite ready for Formula One yet. So I don't know. But Daniel Ricciardo would not have been my choice to come back. And what's going to happen if it's going to be a complete disaster? Really? I mean, what's going to happen if it's going to be a complete disaster? I mean, Daniel Ricciardo will not only lose his seat at AlphaTauri, he probably won't be the test driver at Red Bull anymore either. It'll just be gone. And that's very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. Because at least he was still in Formula One in some capacity. But after this season, this half a season in which he's got to perform and show everyone that he's got what it takes. Because the rumours are that he will be partnering Max Verstappen at some point, because they're going to get rid of Sergio Perez. Red Bull's just got the blinkers on right now. They're looking at the past sort of performance and glory of Daniel Ricciardo and thinking that they can replicate that, they can come back again. But unfortunately, Daniel Ricciardo's best days are now behind him, and he's never going to pull that up again. Yes, I know if you're going to say Fernando Alonso, we know about that, but Daniel Ricciardo isn't Fernando Alonso, and I don't believe that he's going to come back next week at Hungary and blow everyone's doors off, or at least get into the points. I would love to be proved wrong on that. But I'm pretty sure I'm safe in that assumption that he's not going to come back. He's not even going to get into points, is he? Let's be honest. Plano Plessy, hello sir, welcome to the stream. I feel sorry for de Vries. Not one mention of Red Bull AlphaTauri thanking him for his services. Yeah, that's a kick in the balls. If anyone heard it, they haven't even said anything. I remember on Twitter there was lots of thank yous from McLaren for Daniel Ricciardo. I saw them everywhere saying, yeah, thank you for everything that you've done. But, nothing for Nick de Vries at all, which is very disappointing. Very disappointing. I mean, just say something, for God's sake. He's still been with you for the last 10 races. Could have at least just, said, oh, thanks. But obviously they don't want to say thanks because they don't feel that it's warranted or justified. So, there you go. Matthew says, what does TB think of Paddington Bear? Well, let's ask him live. TB, what do you think of Paddington Bear? Oh, really? Well, unfortunately, I can't broadcast that on YouTube. But let's just say, doesn't like him much at all, do you, TB? No, no. What's that? He stole my limelight. Did he? I was the number one bear till he came along. Oh dear. Oh dear. Shall we rename you Nick DeFries? Shall we? Oh dear. Matthew says Dominic Orlando will win his first title next season, in my opinion. Hello, Daniel S. Welcome to the stream. KDF1 says Danny Boy won't score a single point this season. Yeah, I agree with you totally. I agree with you totally. I don't think he will either. He might just sneak in a lucky point if something calamitous happens. There's a big smash up or something and half the field ends up being out. That's the only situation I can see where Daniel Ricciardo will score what I call a lucky point, because obviously if half the field's missing, then he's got a serious chance of getting a point anyway. So I think that's the only situation. On his own merit during the races, I can't see him scoring a single point. Not in that AlphaTauri anyway. I mean, the car's dog shit. Let's put it that way. It's dog shit. It really is. It's just, as I say, I've not seen any of the AlphaTauri on the TV coverage. They just don't even bother with it, do they? So I can't see him scoring a point. Definitely not. Mr. Drum Tank is in the stream. He says, what's this? My ass hurts from what you did to me in the crawl room. Next time use some damn lube. No, we don't believe in you, in Yube. Let me ask TB. TB, we don't believe in you in... I've said it again. Subconsciously, I'm trying not to say the word. TB, we don't believe in lube, do we? No. Lube is not our friend, is it? No. We like it raw and natural, don't we? Yes. Mwah. Mwah. No lube for us here. No, this is a lube-free zone. Yes, lube-free zone. Mwah. Mwah. Yes, because we're animals. They didn't have lube back in cavemen times, did they? No, they didn't have lube. They just did it. They just did it whenever they wanted to do it, didn't they, TB? Yes. Oh, yes. 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 Yeah. Yeah, anyway, let's move on from that. Planal Plenty says, as you know, you're a Star Trek. As I know, you're a Star Trek fan. I thought I'd say Sir Patrick Stewart. Oh my goodness, he's 83 today. Well done, sir. I salute you. 83 today. Yeah, a lot of people sort of didn't realise, because that he's only actually I think 7 or 8 years younger than William Shatner. Because when he started in Star Trek, I'm going to go off in a nerdy rant here now. When he started in Star Trek: The Next Generation in 1987, he was 50 years old. Yes, he was 50. A lot of people forgotten or didn't even realise, but yes, he was 50 when he started in Star Trek: Next Generation. Of course, when William Shatner started in Star Trek back in 1966, he was only in his 30s. I think he was about 33, something like that. So, yeah, So that's how the sort of age differences have, gone over the years. And now, of course, because now it looks like their ages are pretty similar, which they are, but they always were. But it's just that different time periods and when they started sort of, in Star Trek, not when they started their careers, because Patrick Stewart started his career long before Star Trek. He was a thespian, lovies. Yes, he used to do all the Shakespeare, and yes, alas, poor Yorick, I knew him well, and all that malarkey. He did all that years before he did Star Trek. But the thing is, when he started Star Trek, nobody knew who he was. And he actually had on his dressing room door for the whole of the 7 years he did Star Trek: Next Generation, unknown bald Shakespearean actor. That was on the door of his dressing room for the 7 years he was in Star Trek, because that was the joke that he put. I think he put that sign on there the first day he turned up at rehearsals, and it just stuck for the whole 7 years. Yeah, because no one knew who he was. He was pretty well known in England, although I have to say I didn't know who he was until he started in Star Trek. But yeah, so yeah, that's why a lot of people get confused with sort of the ages now. But yeah, he was 50 years old when he started in The Next Generation. And now he's 83. Well, wowzers me trousers. Fantastic, fantastic. And now he wants to do anyone who's been watching the Picard series, he wants to do a follow-up movie to that to finally finish the Star Trek Next Generation legacy. I mean, Jesus Christ. 83 years old. Sometimes, I mean, I'm 54 and sometimes I can't even get out of bed. And yet he's still wanting to make films and TVs. Amazing. Amazing. I don't know how many shredded wheat he has for breakfast, but it's certainly more than I have, I'll tell you, because it's just amazing to see. And Patrick Stewart, I'd say, now one of my sort of favourite actors. When he started in Star Trek, I absolutely hated because I was a William Shatner. You know, I just loved the ripping his shirt off every episode. It was not for those reasons, just because it was. Anyway, let's move on swiftly. But yeah, so William Shatner was my sort of Star Trek captain, and then of course when Patrick Stewart came along, and don't forget, of course, the first season of The Next Generation of Star Trek was very, very slow and cerebral, I think is the right word, and everything was done by the book. It was a very 80s show. It really was very 80s, sort of start to Star Trek again, and he was just very, very slow and plodding, and everything was a committee. If you had to make a decision, you had to go to the his captain's quarters or his ready room or whatever, and actually discuss how we were going to deal with this situation. Thankfully, as the years went on, we got more space battles, and there was none of that shit. It was just like, yeah, blow them up. Which is what I love. But yeah, it started very, very slow, and so as a captain for me, he just didn't do it. He just didn't do it at all. I was like, oh, bring back William Shatner. And everyone else was also the same. Everyone was saying, no, this is rubbish. Bring back William Shatner. Bring back Kirk. We need that. Now, of course, there was a Kirk character in The Next Generation, and that was Jonathan Frakes as William Riker. He was supposed to be the Kirk character, and Picard was just supposed to issue him orders, and then he'd go off and do he'd go off into the planet, strange planet or whatever, and do the adventure. But as it went on, Patrick Stewart got more and more popular, and he started to get more involved with doing the action scenes as well, and so he actually sort of became the Kirk character himself, which is great to see for such an old bald man. So yeah, I loved it. KDF1 says, at least we know what sexuality you are now. Yes. Matthew says, Ricardo will beat Yuki almost 8-4 in the last 12 races head to head. That's a very interesting statistic, and you could be right there. Yeah. I mean, against Yuki, he probably will be better than Nick DeFries, and he probably will beat him in that respect. As for getting points, as I say, no chance. But yeah, he could probably beat Yuki. I don't think he's going to do very well in the first couple of races, because he's going to have to sort of acclimatise himself to Formula One again. So I think in like Hungary, and I think Spa's the last one before the summer break, isn't it? I think those two races, he's just going to be trying to find his feet again. So I don't think anyone's going to be expecting too much from him. After that, I think there's like 10 races left or whatever. Then yeah, possibly he will be beating Yuki in the qualifying and possibly the races as well. But as I say, as for getting points, not a chance. Not a chance. TB is now banned from Peru. TB is now banned from most places in the world. Yes, there's not many places he can visit. That's why he stays with me. Yes. England is the only place that will still have him now. Yes. Scott says, I think he's banned everywhere. He is banned everywhere. Yeah. He will only visit any places now that do not require lube, and that's not very many places in the world. But yeah, he'll only visit places that do not require lube. Planet Plenty says, Star Trek on BBC Two back in the day and now repeated on Pick TV and a channel called Legend. Yes, great. I used to love Star Trek on BBC Two. In fact, that's how I watched The Next Generation, because at that point it was only on BBC Two, and it was like years after it had been on as well that they started showing it, which was normal for back then, because back then in like sort of the 80s and the 90s, it was like 3 or 4 years before an American TV show ended up on our English screens. It was a hell of a long time. I mean, now we've got the ridiculousness of some programs that actually do them live as they're being broadcast in America, broadcast over here as well, only of course with the time difference. I mean, it's just crazy to think about that now, considering I say back in the 80s and 90s, you had to wait 3 or 4 years before, it actually appeared on television. And some of the shows were like absolutely chronic. I mean, everyone will remember Knight Rider with Kit and Michael and the Hoffman. Everyone will remember that. I mean, that started in America in 1982 and finished in 1986. And over here in the UK, we did not see it till around the start of the 90s. I think about 1991, 1992, and it was put in such peculiar time slots. It was unbelievable. They used to put it in like the children's TV time slot, Knight Rider, in like the morning. It was very, very weird. Very, very weird. But yeah, that was the first time I saw Knight Rider, was sort of, about 91, 92. So yeah, we didn't get Knight Rider for years and years and years. But that was the norm back then, your TV. I mean, it's stupid to think now, isn't it? You can just press a button and you've got the latest show. But back then, like early 80s into the 90s, you just had to wait, especially the American shows. We had very few American shows over here, like, as I say, and they came along a lot later, like Knight Rider, the A-Team. That was a Saturday afternoon tea show. That was 5 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. That was the A-Team. I used to love that show. That was great. And some of the others we used to get as well. But I say they were years after they've been on American TV. So in some respects, it's a lot better now that we get them a lot quicker because basically of the internet. Because otherwise, you find out everything about an episode because just everyone talks about it. I mean, just looking at Star Trek now, every single time they put a new episode of Star Trek on like Paramount Plus, you'll see a YouTube video literally 5 minutes later, either discussing it, reviewing it, or showing like a 5-minute clip from it. Literally like 20 minutes after it's just been aired on streaming, it's there on YouTube. So unless you see these shows pretty quick, you're going to see them on YouTube straight away. So yeah, and you're going to find out exactly what happens. So that's one of the reasons why we get the shows a lot quicker, obviously. Plumber says, I wouldn't be surprised if Danny Rick ends up going back to Red Bull next year replacing Perez, but we'll see. Yeah, that's the rumour. But will it happen? I'm not quite so sure. Well, it will happen depending on how he does at AlphaTauri, obviously. If he does better than expected, which I'm not expecting it to happen, but if he does, then yeah, he could be in for that Perez seat because I don't know what's happened with Sergio Perez. Very, very strange. His performance has dipped horribly these last few races. It really has. It's just, I mean, he was up there with Max at one point, not up there with him, but second and third. But I don't know. I just can't put my finger on it. Is he just now suffering from the Max effect? Are the Red Bull team concentrating pretty much 100% on Max now because they know he's going to win the championship, and have they just sort of pushed Checo off to the side a little bit and he's sort of a bit lost and doesn't really know what to do? Is that the situation? Of course, we don't know. We're just plebs. We're just the public. We can just assume, but we've no idea. Or whether he's just naturally dipped in form, which does happen to drivers, over the years. I've no idea. But definitely Checo is in trouble. He's definitely in trouble. And if he doesn't pull his socks up, he could well be out of that seat at the end of the year. I mean, Helmut's just got rid of one driver from his B team. He could quite easily get rid of Perez as well. Quite easily. So we'll have to see what happens. Quantum Leap was another one. BBC Two used to show that. Yes, Quantum Leap. Sam Beckett. Yep. My favourite one was when he would transform into a woman. Let's move on. And Channel 4 bought Star Trek Enterprise. Yes, they did. Yes, I loved Enterprise. Scott Bakula. Oh, yes. Such a shame it got cancelled after 4 years. And the reason it got cancelled was two reasons. One was executives in suits. That's one reason. The other reason was reality TV was really starting to take off at that time. Really, you know, the Big Brothers and all that other Kardashian shit and whatever. It was really starting to take off. Now, one series of Star Trek Enterprise cost $17.5 million to make back in 2004, 2005. Of course, these days the prices that would be now about 50 million a season to make, because of course, you know, they were like 22 episodes as well, which they don't even bother doing anymore because, you know, it's just too expensive now to make more episodes. All streaming, you get about 10 or 12 episodes and that's your lot. So yeah, 17.5 million it cost to make one season of Star Trek Enterprise, and yet they could stick 12 dickheads in a house for, you know, a month, and it would only cost the studio 1 million. So, you know, you work out the maths. It made more sense to do that than to pay for these TV shows. And of course, reality TV was exploding around about the 2000s, you know, onwards, absolutely exploding. And so that's what they did. That's why Star Trek really got cancelled. Two reasons: suits and reality TV. Reality TV killed Star Trek. Yes. The Kardashians killed Star Trek. Unbelievable. But that's the truth. But now, of course, they've managed to bring a lot of science fiction back because they put it on a streaming platform, and of course everyone pays a certain subscription, and that's what pays for the TV program. Now, unfortunately, they're still not making any money on streaming because all that pays for is the TV program. It doesn't pay any profits made to the people who are streaming it, which is quite a problem. And in fact, a lot of them are still in debt or not making any money whatsoever. This is a serious problem. If you think your £7.99 to Netflix or to, you know, the streaming services is actually going to make them profits, it isn't. It's purely paying for the TV programs. They're not making anything above that. And this is the huge problem they've got right now. And they've either got to, you know, cut budgets down on programs so they can make some profit, or get rid of some stuff altogether, and they've been doing that already. There's already been a Star Trek cull. They're getting rid of some of those shows. So, yeah, it's a very, very difficult time for the entertainment industry right now. And that's a very good segue for the last part of the title of this video, which is I just heard before I came on air, literally within seconds on Sky News, that Hollywood has now officially basically shut down because the actors of Hollywood have now gone on strike. And in fact, Emily Blunt and who was the other bloke? I can't remember his name. Syrian Murphy. Is it Syrian or whatever his name? Kieran Murphy. Basically, at the premiere of Oppenheimer, which is their new movie out sort of this weekend, I do believe, they walked out of the premiere because everyone was going on strike. They walked out. Emily Blunt and Cillian Murphy walked out of the premiere of Oppenheimer. Now that's very, very unusual. Usually they would have stayed for the premiere and then, you know, gone afterwards. But no, they walked out at that premiere, and a lot of the other actors have now walked out. It starts midnight tonight, American time, I think. So that'll be, you know, another 7 or 8 hours over here. But yeah, so Hollywood is basically shut down because the writers have been on strike since May, but you can get around that sort of thing because you can just hire writers that aren't in certain unions. Now, the TV programs that are being made obviously suffer because of the writers' strike. Lots of TV programs, if you go back in the past, and you can visibly see the ones that were made during the writers' strike are very bad indeed, because these writers know nothing about the actual shows. They're purely in there just to write words that people can say, and that's it. And so, yeah, so they can get round it by hiring, you know, freelance writers and stuff like that, I'll say, which aren't in the unions that are on strike. So that's a way around it. But unfortunately, when the actors go on strike, you're pretty much stuffed. Yes. Because with no one to say the lines, no, that's not going to work. That's not going to work at all. So for anyone right now who's waiting for their favourite TV show to return, it's my very sad news to report you're going to have to wait a very long time. 2025 will be the earliest any of these shows will get back, unless the dispute is resolved pretty quickly. I'm talking about in the next 2 or 3 months. If that happens, because what you've got to remember is when Hollywood shuts down, the whole machine comes to a grinding halt, and to get it to come back up and start running again takes a very long time. You don't just go back to work the next day and everything's fine. It takes months and months, because these TV shows take months and months to prepare. So to get them going again takes months and months and months. So once it all shuts down, which it hasn't been, it's only been half shut down because of the writers, but now the actors have gone as well. The whole thing is now shut down. Unfortunately, when this last happened in 2007, it was pretty disastrous for the cinema and TV industry. And one of the other things you have to remember is that a lot of the sets that are built for these TV shows, they can't afford to the upkeep to keep them running if no one's actually there making shows. So in most cases, a lot of the sets are actually pulled down, and then when all this is resolved, the show is usually cancelled so they can start again. It is pretty sad, but that's usually what happens, unfortunately. You know, even if it's your favourite show, it's usually cancelled after the writer's strike, and then they start again. Now, one of the good things about the aftermath of a writer's strike, usually anyway, is that usually you get some people come in with fresh ideas and really start to revamp it all. Now, if anyone remembers the Arrowverse, whole world of Arrow and the Flash and everything else that went with that, you remember Legends of Tomorrow and all that all came about after the writer's strike of 2007. Once everything had calmed down and settled down, new people came in, new ideas, and then from like 2010 onwards, all these new shows come bursting out of sort of nowhere and really revamped the TV, industry. So that could happen again in this situation. Unfortunately, I don't think it will, because we've got streaming services now that we didn't have in 2007. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think personally, any show that's sort of at the end of its life anyway, that's been on air for a very long time. Let's look at like stuff like the Chicago Fire series, which has been on for like 12 seasons. Stuff like that, they could call it a day on that, because by the time they come back to work, as I say, thankfully, like Chicago Fire, that's mostly filmed outside, so that may survive. But anything with a set, anything that requires a set, any sort of science fiction show, they can't afford to keep that set running with no one there, because the set has to be maintained. So those shows will probably get cancelled, unfortunately. KDF1 says Perez is being secretly pushed out. They've gotten bored of him. Yeah, I think he is being pushed out. I do agree. Helium Trophy, hello sir, welcome to stream. He says, or if you see one Irish impersonator on YouTube, the joke is Ricardo is poisoning Perez's meals. Yeah, I do see that man on YouTube. He's very, very, very good, I have to admit. Very, very good. I did see the one where he was impersonating George Russell with the helmet on, and Toto was there and he said, take the helmet off. That was really good. So, what's his name? I can't remember his name. George something, and I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, he's very good, very good. Poisoning Perez's meals. Sounds good. Planope says, I heard Paramount rebooted Quantum Leap. If only they'd leave it alone. Yeah, if you go onto YouTube, you will find a little clip from the rebooted Quantum Leap. I think it's either a trailer or it's like 5 minutes of the show, and yeah. No. KDF1 says, no one cares about bloody Star Trek, though. That's it then. That's it then. I'm off. I'm out of here. That's it. I'm out of here. I'm off now. Goodbye. No one cares about Star Trek. That's heresy. 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 All right, I've come back. Plumber says, I wonder if BBC lost Star Trek because I think Sky got the right to repeat the old. Yes, that is the reason why the BBC lost Star Trek. I better not go on about Star Trek because people are complaining, but yes, Sky nabbed Star Trek, The Next Generation, the same as they nabbed the X-Files, and that's the reason why it was no longer shown on BBC. Although they did show it after Sky had shown it, but it was like years later. So, yeah, it was shown later on, but yeah, that's why they lost it, because Sky went in there and grabbed a lot because they were like that back in the day. Back in the days of Sky One, of course, you know, that channel's long gone now. Cillian Murphy, a.k.a. Tommy Shelby of Peaky Blinders. Yeah, that's the one. That's him. Yeah, him and Emily Blunt at the premiere of Oppenheim. They've walked off. They have walked off, which is very unusual. Very unusual. Plumber says Oppenheimer is on the same day as the Barbie film. Oh yeah, the Barbie film. Can't wait to go and see that. Is everyone excited for the Barbie film? I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. It's plastic fantastic. Aqua. Yeah, they were great. I loved Aqua. Yeah, can't beat a bit of Aqua. Oh God. Barbie film. But just as I came on here, I was watching the Sky News, and the actors, there was a spokesman for the actors, and she said, what was her name? Something Dreyer. But she said the real reason they're going on strike is because the studio executives are concentrating more on money than they are on making decent TV shows. Now, that I have to agree with 100%. 100%. If anyone's seen the heresy that they've done to Star Wars on streaming, they just absolutely rinsed it and ripped it apart to a shell of its former self. You'll understand one of the reasons why, because this is ridiculous, because they just completely decimated it. Now, of course, there's the new Indiana Jones film, which apparently is a complete pile of tosh. When's it out? It's the 16th. 16th, yeah. If anybody goes to see that next week, please send me a message. You know how to find me on the YouTube or anywhere really where I am. Please send me a message and tell me what you think about it, because I'd love to know. Because I've seen a lot of reviews, but they're like, American views and what have you. I'd like to see what an English review. But you have to be someone who likes the Indiana Jones movies. Don't go in there if you hate it and send me a message. If you like the past movies, then and you're going to go and see it next week or a couple of weeks time, send me a message and tell me what you thought of it, because I'd love to hear. Because I've heard some horror stories so far, some real horror stories. But yeah, there you go. KDF1 says, bunch of overpaid princesses in Hollywood. Yes. Yes. The other thing she was saying, this spokeswoman, she was saying that apparently most of the actors have got less than $500 spare in their bank accounts. That's what she was saying. Yeah, I don't quite care where that's coming from, but there you go. Bet those writers will still get paid more than anyone over here. Oh yeah, it's Hollywood, isn't it? I always get paid the best. It's Hollywood, the land of dreams. Not really, no. Plumber says, I think Sky showed all that Arrowverse rubbish. Yes, they did. Yes, they showed it all. Arrow was the first one. They showed all of that. And of course the Flash and Legends of Tomorrow and all the other crap that came afterwards. That just, oh my God, rinsed it to death. It was just ridiculous. And of course, Hawaii 5-0, they showed that. Don't forget as well. That was on Sky One. And that was all sort of, as I say, from 2010. 2010, like, exploded with TV programs. As I say, a lot of it because of the writer's strike and people coming back in and, you know, fresh ideas and what have you. But yeah, we had Arrow in 2010, we had the Y5O in 2010. But if you just look at the list of TV shows, there was loads of them in 2010. Like a big, huge explosion of them. Yes. And now, of course, it's just rubbish. Connor Moore, thank you, Mr. KDF1. That's the chappie, Connor Moore. Yes, yeah, great impersonator. I have to say, great impersonator. Planet says, I know Paramount rebooted Hawaii 5-0 in 2010. Apparently, here it's meant to be on Bravo, but they axed the channel when it moved to Sky One. Yes, exactly. Yeah, the first season. No, in fact, about the first 4 episodes were on Bravo. I remember watching them, and then they transferred it across to Sky One, and then Sky One actually showed the first 4 episodes again. You know, just to start the season off from scratch. Lionel Plessy, I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. It's plastic fantastic. I can't remember the words. Hang on. Dee. Here we go. This is the first for YouTube. They'll probably take me down after this. Hiya, Barbie. Hi, Ken. You want to go for a ride? Sure, Ken. Jump in. I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Life in plastic. It's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me everywhere. Ooh, undress me everywhere. Imagination, life is your creation. Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Life in plastic, it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me everywhere. Imagination, life is your creation. Come on, Barbie, let's go party. I'm a blonde bimbo. Wait a minute, is that... I don't know. I'm a blonde bimbo girl in a... Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm a blonde bimbo girl in a fantasy world. Dress me up, make it tight. I'm your dolly. What's going on here? What the... Kiss me here, touch me there, hanky panky. What the... You can touch, you can play. No, that's enough of that. Bloody hell, get me taken off YouTube. Yes, those Barbie girl lyrics went definitely downhill towards the end. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. Plumber says, in the same Sky stole Prison Break and House from Channel 5, 24 from Boozy 2 and Lost. Yes, the bastards. The bastard Sky. What was worse, I never had Sky back in the day. I was always on Virgin Media. Yeah, so I had to go around my sister's house to watch all these programmes. It was very bloody annoying. Scott says BBC are losing quite a bit recently. Yes, they are. Anyway, I can't talk about that. But let's move on. Planet Pesci says, Margot Robbie, who plays Barbie, used to be in Neighbours in 2000. Yes, she did. I used to watch Neighbours. Yes. Hey, don't crucify me. Everyone used to watch Neighbours. Back in the 80s, Neighbours was the most popular show in the UK. It really was. Yeah, I only ever watched it when Kylie Minogue was in it. And Jason Donovan, of course. But it was a great show. It really was. Unfortunately, as the years went on, it deteriorated, and I don't know what the hell you'd even call it now. I know it's finished now, but whatever it was in that last season, I have no idea. But it certainly wasn't Neighbours. But yeah, everyone used to watch it. Even soft lads like me used to watch it. Yeah. Helium Trophy says, the French poster made a play on Ken's name and fucking... Love it. Love it. Planet says, Indiana Jones 5. They shouldn't have never made a fourth one. It's like Toy Story. Yes, it is. Now, don't tell me, everyone, okay? I've watched Toy Story 1, 2 and 3. Okay? I have the capacity to watch Toy Story 4 because it's on Disney. I refuse to watch it. I refuse to watch it. One, because so I've heard, but I've also heard rumours that this isn't the case, but I heard that it was the very last one ever. But I have heard rumours now that they're going to make another one. But if it is the very last one, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. I'd rather just hang on to 1, 2 and 3 and be done with it. Yeah, I don't want to watch it if it's the last one ever. But if they are gonna make another one, I might actually watch it. But yeah, so I want to leave it. And I've heard, not that good things about it, so just leave it. But as for Indiana Jones, the last Indiana Jones movie was The Last Crusade. That's in no doubt with anyone. That was the last Indiana Jones movie. The one that came after it, the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull or whatever, was just... It wasn't even it was only an Indiana Jones movie in sort of slight bits in it. But apart from that, it really wasn't. I mean, Harrison Ford looked okay. He looked older, obviously, but he didn't look too bad. And of course, most of the work now is done by stuntmen, and you've got CGI and motion capture, which can really make it look like it's Harrison Ford anyway. So that sort of thing doesn't really matter, because of course he's made this one and he's in his 80s, Doll of Destiny. So it really doesn't matter about whether you're fit for the task or not. But the fourth one, just it wasn't. And that was, done by George Lucas as well, which sort of confirmed to me that George Lucas lately has definitely been losing it. A lot of people have said that if he hadn't have sold if he hadn't have sold Star Wars to Disney, that Star Wars would have been great. But I don't think it would have been. I think it would have been just as bad as what it is now if George Lucas was still in charge of it, to be honest. Because I think he was definitely starting to lose his grip towards the end. So, yeah. But, yeah. The fourth Indiana Jones film, I still watch it after I've watched the third one, but it doesn't do it for me. And of course, this Dial of Destiny just sounds like an express train smashing into the barriers. It really does, especially with like time travel elements in it. I know Indiana Jones has always had fantasy elements in it. Don't forget the melting faces from the first one and stuff like that, and like religion and stuff like that. But that it was fantasy kind of based in reality, kind of. So it always had that. But this, from what I've been hearing, this is just a step too far for Indiana Jones. But yeah, I will watch it at some point, but I won't like it even before I've even seen it. I know I won't like it. So there you go. I don't think Bravo showed any of the series. I don't know. I think they did show a couple of episodes, because I'm sure I remember seeing a couple on there before they shut down. Sure, because I had it recorded, I think, on Bravo. It wasn't many, maybe two or four, I don't know. Anyway, I won't claim to that. It was a long time ago. Because it would have been ridiculous if they showed half episodes on Bravo and the rest on Sky. Yeah, I don't think it was half. I think it was only a couple. I think it was only a couple. I just seem to remember watching it on Bravo, because I just remember the Bravo logo in the right-hand corner of some of the Hawaii Five-O episodes. But I don't think it was many. I think it was only a couple. But I wouldn't swear to it. I may be wrong. As I say, it was a long time ago, and I'm very old. Dave! Yes. Although when Sky stole Prison Break, that was when the show got rubbish. Yeah. That was it. Sky used to buy the shows when they were good, but now they buy them when they're crap. Yes, because they're cheaper, obviously. Matthew 7657 says children's TV has dropped off in the last 10 years. Some of the programs in the 2000s, early 2010s were brilliant. Yeah, I agree with you. Not that I watch children's television in the 2000s, obviously, but you know, there are occasions, especially if you're not feeling well. If you're not feeling well, then you want to go for a bit of comfort. And so yeah, I often did. I remember one year in the 2000s, I was very, very sick with something. I can't remember, and I was laid up in bed. That's how bad I was. And I watched the entire, how many godforsaken series there were of Transformers Prime, the cartoon series. If anyone remembers that. I think it was about 5 or 6, 7, something like that, seasons, something like that. But I watched the whole thing because I was literally very, very ill. And I loved them. Absolutely loved them. They probably weren't that good, but I was very ill, so I didn't care. I just thought they were brilliant. So yeah, I have dabbled in children's TV back in the days, usually when I'm not feeling too good. KDF1 says Lewis will be pushed out of Merck and Lando will be poached from McLaren to replace him. Controversial. We will see. Yes, but that could happen. Plumper says, my mum used to watch Neighbours until before it moved to Channel 5. Yeah, I think everyone watched it before it moved to Channel 5. And then once it moved, it was just rubbish, wasn't it? Hello, Mr. HRD. Welcome to the stream. He says, I may have been banned on Twitter, but I have a new account. Spread the word. I will indeed, sir. I will indeed. Send me a message or something on Twitter and I'll follow you back or whatever it is. Because I only go on Twitter, I think, once or twice a day. So, yeah, if you find me or see me or something, just do one of those at me's or whatever and I'll follow you back, no problem. Matthew says, Tracy Beaker, I never understood growing up, but now I understand the storylines of the early series. It dropped off quite a bit in the last couple of years, but like most other programs or films. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Once you get past season 3 of most TV and stuff, you know, it's coming to the end. They just drag it on and on and on to try and get the last bit of life out of it. But yeah, always your TV programs, your first 3 seasons are usually the best. Plant says, I'm thinking about watching The Sopranos at some point. Channel 4 used to show that when they put it on E4 when it launched. Now, The Sopranos has a 100% Dave recommendation. The Sopranos is absolutely brilliant. It really is. Absolutely. If you've ever watched The Godfather 1 and 2, not so much the third one, but if you've ever watched The Godfather, then The Sopranos is definitely the series to watch. Yeah, I used to watch that when it was on Channel 4. I haven't seen it for years, but yeah, The Sopranos is brilliant. It is great TV. A lot of people say it's quite slow. It is quite slow in places, but that's all to do with tension and build up, because it does go slow, but then at other times it suddenly explodes literally on your screen and you're like, what the fuck just happened there, you know? So that's why, you know, the pacing is very good. Very good. It's not like coming at you every couple of seconds, and sometimes it does go very, very slow, but then wallop, next episode or whatever, you know, you're suddenly what the hell? But yeah, that's a great series. I think 5 seasons Sopranos was, if I remember rightly. The last season they split into 2, so you could possibly say it was 6 seasons, but they actually just split into 2 with a long break in between. But yes, it gets a 100% recommendation from me. EA was a pay channel then, so those without it couldn't watch until Channel 4 showed it, and then they put it on around 11 PM. That's right. E4 is a pay channel. I remember those days. Yes. How have they ruined, says Matthew, all of those great movies and film series in the last 8 years or so? Very disappointing. Too many limitations put in place. I'll tell you, Matthew, quite simply, streaming services. Streaming services have ruined television programs. Absolute 100%. 100%. If you look at any series on streaming, yeah, you look at the story, like most of them are like 6 episodes long, yeah, and they're usually about an hour an episode, so you've got 6 hours. If you look at those stories, yeah, they could tell that story in 2 hours. Out of the 6 hours, they could tell that story in 2 hours, but they just drag it on and on and on for the whole of the 6 hours until you're literally bored to death. And the reason for that is quite simple, because on streaming services, they haven't got network executives basically just behind their shoulder saying, come on, make this more exciting. Because that's what they had to do back in the day because of the adverts that went in all the programs. Those 3 advert breaks in every program, yeah, that was what paid for the program. If the program wasn't exciting enough, yeah, they got less ad revenue. So that's why they're always on their shoulder saying, yeah, make it as exciting as possible. You look at all the TV shows that aren't on streaming, and they're, even though I will admit, they don't look very good. Yeah, the special effects are pretty ropey, has to be said. They don't look anything like the streaming stuff, but the actual quality, the story, the narrative is so much more better, and they get the story done in like 40 minutes or whatever, which is what you have to do, because in an hour show you've got to have 20 minutes of adverts. They get the story done in 40 minutes instead of dragging their asses out for like 6 hours. I watched, what did I watch on street? It was on Disney. It was one of the hang on, it will come to me in a minute. It was one of the Marvel shows. Hawkeye, that was it. I watched that. That was the most boringest piece of crap I've ever seen for a very long time. Purely because 6 hours, yeah, they dragged that out when they could have said that whole thing. They could have made it into like a 2-hour mini movie, and yet they dragged it. Oh God, it was so slow. Yeah, it had some good parts in it, but it was so slow. Yeah. And then they did that other one. What was that other one? National Treasure. Literally, I think 40 minutes into the first episode. It's just, I'd never seen anything so slow. I'm like, come on. I'm sorry, but I like excitement. I like explosions. I like, people dying and stuff like that. Not in real life, but, in fantasy. I like all that. I don't like all this plodding along. Because if the story plods along, I start to fall asleep. It's simple as. So if I start to fall asleep, then what's the point in watching it, But yeah, so that's the reason why TV has deteriorated over the last 8 or 10 years. It's purely down to streaming services. I will say there isn't a single program, single thing made on streaming services that is anything compared to what the network TV stations used to produce back in the day. The only exception is, of course, the special effects, and the CGI is a lot better on the streaming, but that's because you're paying for that. Your £7.99 a month is paying for those, special effects and graphics. And the other thing I hate now is the 10 episode seasons. It's just ridiculous. It's too short. We're so used to like 22 episodes. I would rather they cut back on the special effects, even in something like Star Trek, which every episode now looks like a film. I'm not really I wouldn't mind if it looked a little bit worse if they just increased episodes, like 20 episodes a season or whatever. And for God's sake, don't drag these stories out for so long. It's just ridiculous. Really is. HRD says, find me a website that shows The Sopranos for free. Unfortunately, there isn't one, because it's on, was it Sky Atlantic, isn't it? Which you have to pay for, unfortunately. Even if you've got Sky, I think you have to pay extra for that, don't you, Sky Atlantic? So, yeah, it's not something you can do for free. I mean, obviously, there's probably a piratey site that will show it somewhere, but actually, showing it for free is not actually possible, because Sky Atlantic nabbed it, and it's behind a paywall now, and it's been there for years behind that paywall. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, I can't get Sky Atlantic because I'm on Virgin, and it's not a channel that it carries, so it's quite a problem. But saying that, if you if you really want to experience The Sopranos, I would suggest, because it is quite cheap now on DVD, all 5 seasons in a box set. I would probably recommend you do that, because obviously there's no adverts either. But I don't think there's anywhere that's actually showing it at the moment, is there? Because Channel 4's not showing it, I don't think. So yeah, it's quite difficult to find, but it's well worth it. Channel 4 used to show NYPD Blue. Don't know if they finished it because they did. Then they put the last series on at 12:05. I'm not so sure. That went on for a long amount of years, though, didn't it? NYPD Blue. I remember that. That was a long show. Purpose, don't spoil it. No, don't worry. I haven't spoiled it. You're fine. In fact, I haven't said anything about it. I could quite easily, over the next 2 hours, give you a complete synopsis on The Sopranos. Quite easily. Yeah. But I won't, don't worry. But I could quite easily have the next 2 hours, because even though I haven't seen it for quite a few years now, it's still stuck in my brain like everything else is. And yeah, I could really tell you everything about Sopranos, but don't worry, I won't. But please go and watch it, because it is great, really is. Matthew says Sex Education is one of the few new series that I actually enjoy. I haven't seen that one. Might have to look at that one. HRD said, should finish going through Family Guy and catch up on The Simpsons, and I'll give it a go like I did with OFAH in 2021. Yes. I like your animation there. Family Guy. Yes, nice one. And The Simpsons. Are you going through the whole of The Simpsons? I mean, the first, 6 seasons were the best. After that, it started to go downhill. And the current seasons, oh my God. Anyway, let's talk about The Simpsons. I really just wish that they'd stop it, you know? Why haven't they stopped it? Well, it can't even be that popular anymore, but I just wish they'd stop it and say, that's it, we're done. I still say to this day, the best Simpsons was the movie. I know. I just love Spider-Pig. Spider-Pig. I just really loved it. And if you think about it, it was quite a sort of reflection of the COVID pandemic, because they all put them in a dome that they weren't allowed to escape from, which is pretty much us in 2020, wasn't it? There you go. KDF1 says Hugh Edwards. Yes, Hugh Edwards. Yes, I can't talk about that, unfortunately, because I'm on YouTube and there's a lot of things going on with that story, so unfortunately I can't make a comment. I don't want to get sued by the BBC. The BBC. Scott says, I think the Thunderbirds, the puppets from the 1960s, I think they only had 2 seasons. Correct me if I'm wrong. Thunderbirds had 2 seasons. Okay, here we go. Thunderbirds nerd alert. Thunderbirds had 2 seasons, but unfortunately the second season was cancelled after 6 episodes. So they only had 32 episodes in total, but after the 6 episodes of the second season, the show was unfortunately cancelled because the bloke in charge was a man called Lou Grade, who was a great producer, always smoking this huge cigar. But he tried to sell Thunderbirds to the United States, and he thought it was going to work, but unfortunately it didn't. And so the deal fell through, and without saying it to the United States, he said, well, that's it, we'll have to cancel it then. Because everything was sort of based on being able to sell it to the US. So they had to start again and do something else. But Thunderbirds didn't die, because they made 2 movies after that, after the series had finished, of course. Thunderbirds Argo and Thunderbird 6. And then it did finally die until it was rebooted again as a CGI. I think back in about 10 years ago it started now, and it's anyway, I can't remember, 8 years ago. So yeah, so that was the story of Thunderbirds. 32 episodes in total of the original series. You had 1 season, I think that was 2026, and then the second season lasted 6 episodes before it was cancelled. Matthew says, everything just seems so underwhelming, whether it be a new video or F1 games, new TV, films, series or movies in this day and age. I don't have the motivation to go to cinema and watch them. That's very true. It's films, movies, it's all very apathetic these days. Could be a reflection more of the times, that we're living in. This has to be said. We're not in the golden age, are we, of mankind? Let's put it that way. This is definitely not going to be the golden age. This, like 2020 onwards, it's not going to go down as the golden age. It's not going to be known as like the roaring 20s that everyone remembers of a certain age. That's not going to be applied to this first half of the decade anyway. It's certainly not going to be a classic. And that, unfortunately, this apathy is translating down to everything. You know, TV, films, just everything is going to shit, basically. It just really is. It's going to shit. And I can't see a turnaround in the future. Not at the moment. I can see a turnaround in like 4 or 5 years time, something like that. It could turn around quite a bit. Hopefully it will, because, you know, a lot of people right now are pretty pissed off, and I can understand, you know, pretty pissed off. Hopefully things will improve. Apparently, you know, the gas and electric prices in the UK are slowly starting to come down, which is good news for everyone struggling with that. And, you know, so hopefully things will kind of improve, but it's going to take a long time. But as for TV, I can't see any improvement in that. Unfortunately, because the networks are now pretty much non-existent, I fear the networks are just going to die in the next 5 years completely. And there won't be any more network TV, which is going to be very sad, because that means everything we're going to be watching is just going to be on streaming. I've already said my arguments for streaming, being that if you haven't got an executive over your shoulder telling you, make it more excited, it's just going to be endless Star Wars sequels. I mean, they've already rinsed it to death. We've got Ahsoka coming out in a couple of months, I think. It's just being rinsed beyond rinsed now. It really is. And that was the thing I think that people are feeling. Back in the day, when this new stuff came out, there was real excitement because it only came out now and again. Like Star Wars films. I mean, you had the first one in 1977, then you had the second one in 1980, and the third one was in 1983. And then the next one was 1999. So you had this huge gap. But between that gap, everyone was still excited for Star Wars, you know. I used to keep watching the films over and over again. But it was great that you had this huge gap. So you didn't overproduce it, basically. And then, of course, 99 came along and the Phantom Menace came along. Everyone lost their shit. I said, what is this garbage? What is this garbage? What have you done to us, Jules? What have you done? But now, as time has gone on, those prequel films have got more and more, apart from the Phantom Menace, but the actual prequel films as a whole have got more and more love. And in fact, they, for a lot of people, especially like the later generations who didn't, you know, come along when Star Wars was around, for a lot of those people, that prequel series is now revered and loved by lots and lots of people, and it's perfectly understandable. It really is. So, but that's the thing. If you oversaturate a product, you're going to dampen down the effects it has on you and me at home. As you just mentioned there, F1 games, exactly the same. Comes out every single year. How can you get excited about the same thing that comes out every single year with just a few bells and whistles on it? That's all it is. You know, the My Team, the career mode, they haven't even touched it this year. They haven't even bothered to touch it. They've just got exactly the same game. They've put this, was it My World or whatever, F1 World. That's supposed to be the big thing. I don't think anyone's really that interested in it. A lot of people seem more interested in the ranked multiplayer. That seems to be the most popular feature of F1 23 right now, is the ranked multiplayer. Lots of people are going through that. I haven't tried it myself, but yeah, lots of people are getting really excited about that. But as for, you know, the F1 game as a whole, you know, yeah, the handling is a lot better, but it's exactly the same thing again, isn't it? I mean, I would have loved to have seen a completely revamped career mode. Completely revamped from the ground up. Just start again. Get rid of all that old development shit and building your car up. And just, I would have loved that. But it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. Obviously, if they were making Breaking Point 2, they probably didn't have enough time because they've very short development window. It's about 9 months to get these games finished. So they probably wouldn't have had time to update the career mode or anything like that, which they haven't done. So it's obviously didn't have enough time to do it. So for next year, I would appeal to Codemasters and say, please, can we just have a complete revamp of the game? Keep the handling from this year. Everyone likes that, and I like it as well. It's great handling, it really is. And keep, all the stuff you've got at the moment, but please, can we just have a complete start again, refresh? Now, I'm pretty sure that F1 24 will not be available on the PS4, so that'll be the time that they can finally do this and put in a brand new game engine as well, because that's what we desperately need, because it's the same engine that they've been using since 2015. I can still see elements of 2015 when I'm going around the circuits. I can still see, little tiny graphical bits that I remember from 2015. It's just ridiculous. It's still in there. It's still in there after all these years. It's still in there. So we need a complete overhaul. But unfortunately, I just don't think they've got the time. Just don't think they've got the time. To do that, they'd need to take a break for a year from doing F1 games. And of course, then everyone will start moaning in the opposite way, saying, "Oh, come on, we want an F1 game." If it was me, because apparently they've got 2 teams that do the F1 games on a rotational basis. If it was me, I'd bring both those teams together round about now, in fact, because the new game's out, so that's all done and dusted. They're doing patches for it, but apart from that, there's not a lot else they're going to do with the game apart from the patches. But they could get like 4 or 5 people to work that out. So get both of these teams together right now, because this is when you've got to start right now and start building 2024 up from the ground up, from scratch, and just do away with all the old features and just start it fresh and new. But as I say, I still don't even think with 2 teams they'd have enough time to do it by next June or whatever. I really don't. It's a difficult one. It really is. It's a difficult one. It really is a difficult one. Actually, it's interested to see what they do with David Tennant back at Doctor Who, but of a weird decision. Yeah, I thought that was a bit of a weird decision. I used to watch Doctor Who with David Tennant in it. I was very impressed with the episodes that he was in, and that was a real quality period of Doctor Who, I do believe. I used to watch the Christopher Eccleston one. He was only in it for 1 season, but I used to watch them. Then I went on to the David Tennant. As soon as it went to the other bloke, that Matt, what's his name, I stopped watching, and that was it. That was it for me. Yeah. And as for the last Doctor Who, no, just no. So yeah, bit of a strange decision that they're sort of going backwards a little bit. Parker says, speaking of Thunderbirds, David Graham, aka Parker, was 98. Oh my god, 98, and he still did the voiceover for Parker on the rebooted Thunderbirds, which was I think the last season ended in 2021. Yeah, he's still doing the Parker voiceover, and he's saying exactly the same. Slightly better, obviously, because they got newer microphones than they had in the 60s. But yeah, 98. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. Yes, milady. Oh, Parker. Yes, milady. Take off my skirt. Oh, yes, milady. Oh, and Parker. Yes, milady. Take off my blouse. Ooh. Yes, milady. Oh, and Parker. Yes, milady. Take off my bra. Ooh. Yes, milady. Oh, and Parker. Yes, milady. Don't let me catch you wearing my clothes again. That's a dad joke. Oh, fucking hell. Let's move on swiftly. Blind Pieces has never watched any superhero films except for the Spider-Man trilogy and the old Superman film, Christopher Reeve, whatever his name was. Christopher Reeve, yeah. Yeah, I did watch the original Spider-Man trilogy. I thought it was pretty decent. The third one was a little bit over the top because there's too many villains in it. Too many bad guys, which always spoils the adventure, unfortunately. But apart from that, yeah, I enjoyed the first three Spider-Mans. I did watch the other Spider-Mans. They were okay. Not as good, though. Not as good. But yeah. But I have to say, Superman, the very first Superman with Christopher Reeve, is a stone cold classic. Stone cold classic. Absolutely. In fact, I've got a version which is like 10 minutes longer than was actually shown at cinemas. And quite a few scenes that they took out, which actually added to the story. So yeah, great to see. And yeah, but Superman, always my favourite. Of course, I watched that at the cinema in '77, and as you can imagine, I was 8 years old, something like that. So it was magical. I couldn't go on my own. I had to get my mum to come with me because back in those days, even I think it was PG, yeah, parental guidance. So yeah, your parent had to come along with you. Oh, those are the days. But yeah, it was great. Absolutely great. Matthew says, I'd rather just watch old 2000s or 90s TV shows where it was in its peak. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Actually, no, I realised the last 3 series of NYPD Blue got put on more for, meaning people had to wait years to see them. Sounds about right. Sky Atlantic says Planet Percy still put on surprise episodes. Yes, they do. But as I say, it's on a paywall. Unless you have to pay separately for Sky Atlantic. Even if you got Sky, I think you have to pay for Sky Atlantic separately because it's a pay channel. Because that's the channel that's had Game of Thrones on it, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, that was really the first. If I remember rightly, that was the first sort of streaming channel, isn't it? If you could call it that, I suppose you could call it a streaming channel. But yeah, that was really how it all started, really, wasn't it? Sky Atlantic. Matthew says you should do a Hookster review. I should do, shouldn't I? Yeah, I should do Hookster reviews because yeah, it's just ridiculous. All this information in my head, it's bursting out sometimes. It really is bursting out. Planet says Simpsons series 1 to 9 is still all you need. Maybe series 10 as well. Yeah. I think series 10, a lot of people said was where it was just starting to drop off. I mean, all I do with the Simpsons now is I record them off Sky, whatever they want to call it these days, Showcase, Sky Max. I just record the new episodes, and literally I'm like 1 minute in, stop, go to the next episode. 1 minute in, stop, go to the next episode. 1 minute in, stop, and I just go through like 4 or 5 at a time, and then suddenly I go through. Okay, I'll watch a bit of this one, and that's how it works now with the Simpsons. Like the last season, I just watch, and there'll be like 1 episode out of 5 that I'll probably get, but sometimes I slowly get halfway through, and I'm like, I mean, they start going about NFL football and stuff like that, and there's, no interest in us in the UK, so we all fall asleep. But yeah, the Simpsons, very sad, because that show was great in its day. I always remember the one where Homer was singing in the kitchen, and he was singing along to that was it Tumba Thumper song, if anyone remembers that. I take a whiskey drink, I take a vodka drink, and when I need to pee, I use the kitchen sink. First time I heard that, I was rolling on the floor, absolutely rolling on the floor. That was just brilliant. Cinema television history was made right there with that. It was the old what's it called? Tumba Thumping. What's that bloody band called that did that? When I get down, I get back up again. Da, 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 da. You remember the song? Tumba what? Oh, something like that anyway. And it was to that song, but that's what he said. Yeah, when I need to pee, I use the kitchen sink. Oh, I was just gone. I was gone for about 10 minutes on the floor. Absolutely brilliant. Matthew says, I'd never have brought F1 if it wasn't for racing with you guys or Breaking Point. The career mode is a disgrace and a massive disappointment. Not just this year, but since 2017, 2016 was the last good one. Yeah, 2016 was the last good one because, you know, it didn't have so much things to do, like 122 parts you have to adjust on your car or upgrade on your car now. It's just ridiculous. Now, I hate the fact that every 2 seasons they do the development reset and you lose half the parts. You have to basically start again. It's just so boring. And everyone knows they do that basically to last the whole of the 10 seasons because otherwise you'll probably get the car fully upgraded in about 3 seasons. You'll probably do that because of the resource points. They give away resource points willy-nilly these days. The old games you used to get, especially 2016, that was very stingy on resource points. But nowadays you just get a huge amount of resource points. And so, yeah, you can probably get your car fully upgraded by season 3. So they literally put that in every 2 seasons. And it is literally every 2. That's what annoys me the most. You know instantly it's going to happen. Every 2 seasons, oh, the development reset. And you lose half the bleeding parts. You have to start again. And your car then drops down like 4 places. And you're like, oh, I'm losing the will to live here. I'm losing the will to live here. It really is. It's terrible. But, yeah, so less sort of development parts because I'm sure, I mean, probably F1 has got that many parts. In fact, F1 cars have probably got 500 parts on the car, not 122. So these are just like made up parts that co-masters have put on anyway because, you know, as I say, a real F1 car is going to have at least 500 parts on it, surely. But it's just, you know, it's just too much. And by the time you get your car fully upgraded, I've always said that 10 seasons is ridiculous anyway. Who wants to play through 10 seasons? 5 seasons on the old games was always the perfect amount because first 2 seasons you could spend either upgrading the car if it was one of those games where you could, but of course the older games there really wasn't much in the sort of field of development. Some of them had little bits you could put on the car, like the PS3 games, like 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. You'd have little development bits that you could put on, but really not anything of significance. So the only way you could progress was to go into better teams. But that was the great thing about it. So you could, out of the 5 seasons, you could spend the first 2 seasons getting into better teams for like season 1 and 2. Season 3, you could try and sort of, you know, get somewhere near the front of the championship. And then for season 4, you usually manage to get into a decent top running team. And then you had 2 seasons left to try and win the championship. And, you know, if you just didn't miss out on season 4, you'd have season 5 to try and do. And that was the excitement because you knew that was the last season. When it got to the end, that was it. Game over. If you hadn't won the championship, that you literally had to start again and do another 5 seasons. And that was the great thing about it. It was the perfect length for a career mode, 5 seasons. 10 seasons, it's just ridiculous. I mean, I turn them down to 16 races now. I can't do 10 races because that's too short for a season anyway. And you get no feel that you're actually going through a season of races with only 10. But with 16, that's the perfect amount. But even with 16 races, you times that by 10. That's getting on for what, 184 races, something like that. It's just way too many. It really is. When you've got the fact of practice, qualifying, and the race as well, and whatever race, I mean, I only ever do 25% races. In career modes, I don't see the point in doing anything above 25% because there's so many races to get through. There's just no point. As long as the car stopped once, that's all I'm really worried about. But there's no way I'd like do a 10-year career with like 100% or even 50% because I just don't see any point because it takes so bloody long anyway that you just, you know, you're just gonna give up. You're just gonna give up. If I was doing like 50 or 100, I'd do that in like a championship mode as 1 season and then that would be it. I'd never do a full career mode at anything above 25 because, as I say, I mean, thankfully F1 23 has got 35% option for this year, which is really great, and I will be doing the 35% option in the all seasons because it's only going to add, I think, an extra 6 or 7 laps to the thing, so it's not going to affect the video lengths because I always cut them down anyway. So that's going to be great. That things are going to get a little bit longer, but I'd never do 50% races in a career, because it just takes so bloody long. It's unbelievable, and you just get bored by about the halfway point, and you leave it, and you don't play it anymore. So you think, what's the point? Nothing beats the Thunderbirds, done by Jerry Anderson, and the first film was from 2004, and the series you're talking about was ITV in 2015. Yes, that's right. Thunderbirds are go, wasn't it? When ITV was rubbish, but nowadays ITV is getting solid again. It is. Well, I haven't watched ITV for quite a long time, so I will yield to your superior information. Bring back Bravo. Showed nothing but old sci-fi police shows. Yes, an adult with it. Yes. Bravo was my favourite. I love Bravo, absolutely. And I still think they will get F1 back, so I hope. Yes. 5 to 8, 8 to 10 years from now. Bold statement, but I'm sticking to it. Doubt ITV will show F1 again. I can't see it. I don't think they want it, to be honest. I don't think they want it. And of course, Channel 4's just signed it for through until 2026, including the 2026 season. So, yeah. I can't see it for the considerable future. I think Channel 4 will probably nab it again until 2030, when all these apparently new regulations are coming in, where all petrol cars are getting banned, which is, I still want to see what happens in Formula 1 after that. But after that, I don't even know if Formula 1 will be a thing, to be honest. I'm not judging by the way things are going. I can see it's steadily declining. As I said in one of my videos, it's going to end up like the World Rally Championship if it doesn't watch out. It really is, which, as I say, unfortunately no one watches anymore, and because it just isn't popular anymore. And I think that's what's going to happen with F1 eventually, if it doesn't pull itself out of its current situation, but I just don't think it will. When are you going to start with the calls? I will in a few seconds. Bloody hell, 1 minute, 1 hour 38. I like David Tennant, he's entertaining. Yes. My prediction winner for Silverstone. When will bloody P6, P7 or whatever place he came? Yes. Sky Atlantic, a channel that shows HBO content that explains why it's on there. Yes. I think Sky used to have an advert back in the day saying they'd show Simpsons episodes 4 years before Channel. Yes, I remember that advert, and that's exactly what they used to say, yeah. Because Channel 4 nabbed The Simpsons, didn't they? Not obviously the new ones, all the old back catalogue, which they were showing at 6 o'clock, I think it was, on Channel 4, wasn't it? And Sky, they weren't very happy with it, because obviously, Simpsons is a very popular show, and especially if they were showing the old ones, which would have been more popular than the ones that Sky was showing. So yeah, they put that advert up, basically just to stick the finger up at Channel 4 to say, yeah, we get them 4 years before, so go and watch ours instead, even though they're not as funny, but yeah, go and watch ours anyway. And Dave, did you know BT Sport got took over by American Sports on cable, as they say over there? And yeah, it's TNT Sports. Yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah, that's very sad news. 18th of July is when BT becomes TNT. Also, Eurosport will soon merge with the channel, and the Eurosport name disappear in the... Oh, that's a shame. I used to love Eurosport for the old Le Mans. I bet that'll disappear now. Channel 4 took The Simpsons off BBC 2 and edited them. Yes. What a shame. Eurosport was phenomenal in the past. Yes, from about 97 to 2007-ish. I know they show the car series live, but the NASCAR broadcast on TNT in the past was solid. Yes, it was. It was. Yeah, I loved Eurosport US. I'm sure it would have been extremely interesting, says Will F1 Gaming. Yes. Is that a reference to Martin Brundle and his almost interview with Cara Delevingne? Is that Delevingne? I don't even know how to say her name. Delevingne. That's what it looks like in letters. Delevingne. But I think it's Delevingne. Is it Delevingne? Cara Delevingne? I'm not quite sure. Little Princess. Little Princess, yes. Anyone remembers morning TV with TVAM, I think it was, with old, what's his name? Eamon Holmes. And he, what was that woman's name? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of all these things in my brain. What was it? Anthea Turner. They did for a very short amount of time, because, yeah, they did morning TV. And Eamon Holmes turned around and called her Princess Tippy Toes. And that's what I'm going to call Cara Delevingne, Princess Tippy Toes 2. Yes, because that was her attitude on Sunday to poor old Martin, who wasn't there for the clout whatsoever. He was purely saw, a woman who he thought was, she looks quite popular. Or I've seen her in films, which, Martin does probably watch films, even though he's getting on a bit. And he thought, I'll go and interview her. And that was the reaction that he got, which was, as I said in my video, absolutely ludicrous. And everybody's saying he did it just for the controversy. Bollocks! Get out of here! As I said, he's getting on a bit now. He's had bleeding heart surgery. What on earth would he want to go on there? It's not like Sky's going to suddenly get rid of Martin Brundle, is it? For God's sake. His job's not exactly under threat, is it? I know they've got rid of some of the others, but let's face it. They were a bit trash anyway, weren't they? But yeah, so I'm not going to get rid of Martin Brundle. So he had no reason for controversy or anything like that. He's just, he's just a normal guy on an F1 grid wanting to talk to someone. But no, not Princess Tippy Toes. I just love the bit at the end. All right. Unbelievable. Right, calls, because I've got to go in a minute. Bloody hell, 1 hour 42. Right, let's turn myself off. Let's go, Barbie. Let's go. I can't stop singing that now. It's all your lot's fault. Let's go, Barbie. Let's go, party. Ooh, 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 ooh. I love you, Ken. Woo, 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 woo. Woo, 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 woo. Right, get rid of that one. 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 Blah, 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 blah. Go get rid of one more. Right, here we go. Whoop, what's the bet in my Facebook call-in? It's not going to work now. Because this show is on a shoestring. On a shoestring. Oh, we're going. We're going. Right, what I'm going to do is put that on big screen. Turn down the ringy. There you go. Now I can look at the comments while we're ringing. Eurosport MotoGP coverage used to be great. Yes, it did. Cara Delevingne, aka the non-stop pop FM ditch. Wait. Who's this? Who is this? Wait a minute. I've got to turn my volume up. Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Hello? Wait a minute. Hang on. I haven't got you on sound. Hang on. Say again. Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Who's that?
This is me, Joe. Joe Plant.
Joe Plant? Oh my goodness. Sorry, I wasn't looking up at the screen. I was answering messages, so I didn't see who it was. Wowzers, me trousers. The plant pot is in the house.
What's going on?
I'm just live to the world.
Oh, good.
And so's little Emily now as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, this is what I'm doing. Emily and I are just hanging out.
Hanging out.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, that's it.
What's
Go on,
up?
rip his socks off.
What'd you say, little girl? That's my foot. So what's new, Dave?
Not a lot. Usual stuff.
Yeah.
And don't worry, I'm gonna go. PG. What's the one below 12? PGU for the rest of the conversation.
Oh, you mean in regards to her?
Yeah.
Oh, well, her favorite movies are horror movies. You don't have to worry about her.
Oh, that's all right then. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
What are you saying, little girl? Are you saying hi? Yeah, the video's on this side of the phone, but if you come over here, you say hi, you wave. Say hi to Dave, wave. You wave? Let me rotate the camera then, so you can see yourself. All right, that's you. You see yourself?
Hello.
You wave? Will you wave? Or can you just poke Dave in the face? Whatever works for you.
That's all right,
Yep.
I'm used to that.
What are you trying to do? She's trying to remove your glasses, Dave.
Oh. Hey, hang on. No, get off me. No, get off me. They've gone.
She's confused, Dave. She doesn't know what to make of this.
They've
Will you
gone. Where's
clap
my
at me?
glasses gone? Hello?
Will you clap?
I
You can't see anything, baby.
Whoa, we'll come back.
You clap, Emily? It's very good. Pick up your water, okay? Grab your water. Yeah, so this is what it is, Dave. This is what I do all the time.
Yep. Are you the house husband now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am the yeah, this is it. I don't know what the appropriate term for it is, but I take care of babies all day, Dave.
Yeah, I understand.
It's good. You put your little wagon away. That's excellent. And I'll pick up all the clothes that you took out of your. I mean, I wished I had more riveting content for you, Dave, but I think my life has become a little domestic. What are you doing, little girl? Well, I just put that away. Okay, if you say so. You picking out an outfit for later? All right. Emily, where's Mario? Can you go find Mario?
Yeah, where's Mario? We love Mario.
Yeah, let's go find Mario. Where's Mario? Go find him. Where's Mario? Go get him. That's Mario. Good girl. Where's the fox?
Mario.
Where's the fox, Emily?
It's behind you.
Ah, good girl. You found the fox. Where's the tractor? Where's the tractor? Ah, good girl. You found the tractor.
Tractor.
Yeah, a go-kart or tractor, whatever you want to call it. Is that the go-kart tractor? Yeah, we're not going to ride it now, though. We already rode it today.
Now, Joe, Matt is in my chat and he's been complaining the last hour about the quality of recent TV programs and movies. And I would like to put a proposal through now to say that this is quality entertainment right here.
Yeah, no, I mean, it can be. It can be for short periods of time. You know, the thing is, she doesn't really, she says a lot, but she's not really getting anywhere with the conversations. It's just a whole lot of nonsense and hand gesturing. So I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what she's even trying to accomplish right now.
You wait till she's 16, Joe. There'll be a lot of hand gesturing.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of talking and stuff. But, you know, I mean, I've lost control of everything here. Marty, what are you doing to the couch? Come here.
He looks guilty.
Is that the dogga? What's the dogga doing? Yeah, that's the dogga. Yep, that's the doggy. Yeah, he's funny, right? What are you saying? You saying ball? No, we don't need a ball. No one needs a ball. Why are you saying ball? You're going to get them all going. No, no ball. We're not doing ball right now. No ball. Oh my God. That's what happens, Dave. The voice just gets higher pitched.
Yeah.
I'm walking away. Stop chasing me. What are you doing? What? You saying bye? Oh, I got some riveting content. For Matt. Hey, Emily, come here. I gotta ask you a couple of really important riveting questions for the ERL. What does a sheep say? Good. Okay. And what does a cow say? Moo. Cow says moo. What does a dog say? What's a dog say? What? What does a dog say? It's tough with what do you call it? When you have people on your show, Dave, live guests. It's tough with live guests sometimes. They don't really know the content.
I know. I'm used
So-
to the problems. Don't worry.
Now,
Hello?
in recent ERL events, I haven't really been getting the results I'm accustomed to, and I can 100% attribute that to this woman.
Not enough
See,
testing.
this woman takes up a lot of my time, and then all of a sudden it's Monday night, and I don't even know where the hell I'm going. Yeah, this. So what do you do, Dave, about a woman like this in your life that just takes up all your time?
Not a lot.
There's no ball. But what I do have, look, I don't have the ball, okay? But I have the book. You want to look at the book? Dave, I don't know. Listen, cut me off if this is terrible content. I don't know. Look, I got a book. What's on the cover of the book? Baka. Your water's over there. This is Dustin's kid's main competition in a few years.
Yep.
The future of ERL.
Yep.
See, Dustin thinks he's so cool and all, but this kid's got a lot of potential here. I don't know if it looks like it yet, but we'll see if Dustin's kid can compete with this. There's no controllers for this one. She'll go right to the wheel. That's your leggy. Leggy. Your leggy. Look at that coordination and balance. That's remarkable.
Yep.
Leg. All right, see you later. Bye. 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 Yeah, this. Yeah, so let's see what the rest of my night has. Dave, this is probably not F1 Games PlayStation content. What do we got here? We're gonna have some organic pears, mangoes, spinach, and super chia. What do you think?
Nice.
Nice? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Play with the wall socket. That's a good activity. Well, the wall socket's been covered, so in case anyone's watching, thinking I've neglected the baby. What are you laughing about? Look what's happened to my cabinets, Dave. They're all Velcroed shut.
Yeah.
You can't even get anything in my house anymore. My stove, everything's closed. Yeah. No, I'm not opening that. Sorry, I can't help you. So hopefully Brazil goes better, Dave, for me.
Yeah.
I was fairly uncompetitive on Monday, in my opinion. I just hadn't had a chance to play the game much.
No,
Any comments in your stream there?
No, not at the moment.
No. Okay.
They're watching in amazement, I expect.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping I don't hit anyone again this week, because that was funny.
Yeah, that was kind of the beginning of my difficulties, I think, because after I got kind of lost a second to the leaders there, then I had to use up a ton of ERS to catch back up. So
Yeah, that was just my fault for turning those triggers off and forgetting about it for a week. They really do make a difference, those triggers. I don't know if you've tried them on a racing game.
I think I did briefly when I first got my PS5, but
Yeah.
Oh, you want to see something kind of ridiculous, Dave?
Yep.
So you got your PS5 over here, right?
Yeah.
Pretty standard stuff. But there's another PS5 in here.
No, that's it. That's it. Good night, everyone.
I'll give you a quick, just a quick glimpse of the current racing setup. I won't give you the whole thing. I won't spoil it, but yeah.
Nice. I like the lighting.
It's been updated. Yeah, of course. I had to put some little lights in there, but it's been updated since. And I walk away for 2 seconds, and what's happened over here? She's picking out new clothes. You're the one that pulled it out? Yeah. What do you want to do? You want me to make dinner for you? Do you want some dinner? Little girl? See, I'm not sure how to read her emotionally, Dave. I don't know if you know more about women than I do, but I can't really understand what she's trying to tell me.
Definitely not.
I mean, it's confusing. Like, I think she wants dinner, but I'm getting mixed signals. I mean, I know. Aren't you a world-renowned female psychologist?
Well, I am. Yeah, I am. Yes, that's true.
Okay, because I mean, I don't know. Like, sometimes I feel like she's saying one thing and means another. You know?
Well, that's typical of all women, to be fair.
So what am I supposed to interpret when she appears to say something and want something else? How do I know what she's really trying to say?
Well, that's the secret and the charm of all women. You never know, and that's why they do it.
Well, why would they want to confuse men?
That I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one.
Well, maybe someday she can explain it to me.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's the. What is it? What are you looking for? You can't just say that. What are you looking for? I don't understand what you're saying to me. See what I mean? Mixed signals, Dave. I'm not following.
Yep.
Well, I guess I'm gonna make her some dinner, so we'll wrap things up for me here. But
Okie dokie.
Emily, you have anything you want to say? Anything insightful? Emily, little girl, is there anything you want to say?
No.
No. Okay. Very good. Here, Emily, you want a snacker? Yeah. Is this to mean that women love snackers? Snacks?
Yes.
Yeah, you have 2 snacks in your mouth currently. You don't need more. Yeah, no, more. That's the hand signal for more, by the way.
What?
We touch our palm. I don't know what it means, but yeah. All right, wave bye, Emily. Say bye.
Bye, Emily.
Clap for Dave's show. Emily. Clap. Ah, good girl.
Yes.
Good girl. Yeah, give it a year and she'll be able to qualify in the top 5. All right, Dave, and everyone
Okey-dokey.
watching.
Thank
I
you
don't know
very much.
how many people are watching.
3 people right now.
Cool. All right. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Emily. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Say bye.
Bye.
Excellent.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, that was the potted plant pot and his, I say new child. Sounds a bit, doesn't it? But Emily was with him as well. So I'll just read out last the messages. Cara Devine, aka the non-stop pop FM DJ on GTA 5. That's all I know her from. Yeah, on Channel 4, Jeremy Clarkson was on twice. First time was a Ariana, whatever her name, was interviewing Lando. Second time was when Coulthard Webber ran to him and Adrian knew it. Yeah, Clarkson was brilliant. I love the fact he said that he was talking to Adrian Newey and they went to the same school together. Oh my god, I bet that was fun. Also, the actress Hannah Waddington was there saying Lewis has 8 world yes, nice. MotoGP, they have Toby Moody and Julia Ryder on Eurosport, and Toby have done commentary on the BTC in 2012 to replace Ben Edwards, yes. Sam Ryder was also on Sky coverage and he was such a nice guy. And finally, we don't speak of Damian Lewis's rendition of the national anthem. I didn't know he could sing either, but yeah, the debate's still on about that one. Dave, you sound like Andy from Little Britain. I want that one. Well, on that note, Scott, that's possibly the best thing to end it on. So thank you. I sound like Andy from Little Britain. Unbelievable. Thanks so much for everyone for watching tonight. To Scott, to Plynal Plessy. I don't know whether this KDF one was in there. Thank you. Matthew 7657. I don't know if it'll let me scroll. Mr. HRD was in there as well. Hopefully I've got Helium Trophy. Don't forget Helium Trophy. I think that was no, there's one more. I think Daniel was in there at the start as well. But anyway, thanks everyone for watching tonight. You have been awesome as always. Do not enjoy the Grand Prix on Sunday, because if you do, it won't be on. So the Grand Prix will be back next week for Hungary. So we'll have a race preview next Thursday, like we always do for Hungary, and we'll have our little predictions. And what I'd like, apart from the top 3 this time, is your predictions for Daniel Ricciardo. But we'll sort it out next week. Don't put it in now. We'll do it next week. Otherwise, I'll miss it. And we'll have your predictions for Daniel Ricciardo. Tell me where you think he's going to finish in Hungary next week. Okay, thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you, and good night.